Hello guys, and welcome back again to my channel. If this is your very first time, my name is Gloria and thanks for joining us. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the mistakes that international students make when they come into Canada. So are you an international student and you're planning to come to Canada and you're wondering what are the things I need to avoid doing? I'm going to be talking about a few of them because time will not allow us to talk about all the mistakes that international students have made in the past that you can learn from. I'm going to make it as easy as possible and talk about the most important ones. And guys, as you watch this video, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It helps my videos and it helps the YouTube algorithm to move my videos to those international students who are planning to come to Canada, so that they too can also watch the video and learn a thing or two. And for my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. And without further ado, let us just jump right into the video. So the first thing I have on my list here is working more than 20 hours. The reason why I say this is number one is because a number of students, even during my own time when I was an international student, there were many students who were working more than 20 hours. And in fact, it got one person in trouble that I know of, and that person was deported back to their country of origin. Now, what does the government of Canada say about working more than 20 hours or working 20 hours? I'm going to read this from the government of Canada website, www.cic.gc.ca. I'll put that on here so that you can see it, and I'll also drop the link in my description box so that you can also go and verify for yourself. This thing that Gloria said about working 20 hours, is it true or not true? So it says that how many hours can you work off campus? During regular school terms or during regular semesters, you can work up to 20 hours per week. You can work more than one job to make these hours as long as you continue to meet the conditions of your study permit. Now the question it says or asks here is, who can work more than 20 hours per week on campus? Remember, they're talking about on campus. Under a temporary policy, you may be eligible to work without a work permit for more than 20 hours per week off campus during regular academic sessions. To be eligible, you must meet the following requirement. Now, take note of this requirement for you to work more than 20 hours on campus. 1. If we received your study permit application or extension on or before October 7, 2022. So this is saying that there's a policy that is still in place as of today's date. Today's date is January the 18th, 2024. There is a policy in place that allows students to work more than 20 hours on campus. So these requirements have to be met. The second one is if they have received your study permit application or extension between October 8, 2022 and December 7, 2023. The last eligibility requirement to work on campus more than 20 hours is if the IRCC received your application for a study permit extension after December 27, 2023. So the Government of Canada website still goes on to tell us during scheduled breaks during the school year, how many hours can you work? And I'm going to read this verbatim from the Government of Canada website because, again, as a disclaimer, I am not a licensed immigration consultant. I do not work for the IRCC and I am not a lawyer. So all the information I'm passing across will be information that I get or I derive from the Government of Canada website, because that is where you get information about immigration to Canada and studying in Canada, visiting Canada, immigrating to Canada under the express entry pool and things like that. So that is where I get my information. Please ensure that the information that you're receiving is the current information, because the changes usually occurs on the Government of Canada website from time to time. So you need to make sure that you're having the right information. Okay, that being said, let's talk about how many hours if you are on scheduled breaks. So scheduled breaks could be like maybe Easter, winter, summer, especially winter, summer. those are times when they call it scheduled breaks because their breaks are long. It says you can work full-time if you are on a scheduled break, such as winter and summer holidays. You see, I got it right. Or a fall or spring reading week. Usually the schools or colleges would have a reading week. You can work full-time at that time, but remember, you still have to read. It says you are free to work overtime or work 2 part-time jobs that add up to a higher than usual number of hours. Usual number of hours is 20, so you can work 40 hours, which is a full-time hour in Canada. It says that you must be a full-time student both before and after the break to work full-time. I'll read that part again. It says you must be a full-time student to both before and after that break, so either summer, winter, fall, or spring reading week. You have to be a full-time student in order to work full-time. You cannot work during a break that comes before you start your first school semester. Now, let me explain that part. So I see many and I hear many international students, they come to Canada. Let's say their studies is supposed to start in September. They come early in August or they come late in July and they go and start working. No, you cannot do that because you have broken the information that was given to you. You have broken the law and you can be asked to go back to your home country. I know of a situation right now as we speak that somebody who came to Canada as an international student left their school and went to work full-time. You cannot do that. Even if it is part-time, you can't do that. You must have started school before you can even think about work because you came here to study. You cannot leave study and face work. No, you cannot. You have already broken the rule and you might go in for it. Please don't do it. Advise your wards, advise your friends, your relatives, your uncles, your aunts, your children, that they should not indulge themselves in this kind of thing. And toward the end of this video, I will share a few things that you need to know about schooling here in Canada and things you need to avoid so that you don't get yourself into trouble. Now, the next question that is being asked here is how many hours counts as a full-time work? Because some people don't know how to calculate that. It says there is no set number of hours per week that counts as full-time. However, your employer will know what is considered a full-time hour. Sometimes it's 40 hours, sometimes it's 7.5, sometimes it's 35. Your employer will tell you what a full-time hours will mean. Now, if your program doesn't have scheduled breaks, you can work up to 20 hours per week. Note, working more than 20 hours per week is a violation of your study permit conditions. You can lose your student status for doing this and may not be approved for study or work permit in the future. You may also have to leave the country. Now, what this place is saying that if you breach the condition of your study permit, it says that you cannot work. So sometimes and most times they usually would, when they give you your study permit at the airport, when you come into Canada, there is, when you read it towards the end of the permit, it tells you allowed to work only 20 hours per week. So it will tell you that you will see it's black and white. It tells you you cannot work more than 20 hours. If you now decide that you know more than yourself, you now go and work more than 20 hours, you have breached the law. You have not met the conditions of your study permit application, and that is going to put you in enough problem. Because one, like this thing is saying, you may not be approved for a work permit when you want to apply for a work permit. Two, when you want to apply for a permanent resident, they will bring out your case and they'll remember it and they might refuse you a PR. And you know what that means. And the third thing is that they won't even wait for you to apply for a work permit. They will ask you to go back to your home country. So please, guys, always read so that you don't get yourself into any problems. I'll continue how to calculate your hours, because most people have asked me, Gloria, how do I calculate it? So it says you're responsible for both of the following, which is keeping track of the hours that you work off campus, and hours are defined as any time you spend any wages or collecting a commission. Even if you're on call during these hours and not actually working, you are still considered a worker and you're getting paid. So you must continue to comply with the conditions of your study permit, and to do this you must show that you're actively pursuing your studies, you're not working more than 20 hours per week, and you're not meeting any other conditions listed on your study permit. Now I'm going to say something here about what happened to an international student a few years ago and how this can impact international students here in Canada. So this student was working full-time hours when the person was supposed to be in school. Normally you're supposed to work part-time at 20 hours, but this person was working full-time. So on one of his days of going to work, he was stopped by a police officer and they asked him where he works, and they asked him a couple of questions, and one of the questions was where he works, and then he showed them where he works, and he showed, when he confirmed with Canada Immigration Border Services Agency, they was informed that the guy has been working overtime. Do you know how they understand you working more than 20 hours, or how they found out that this person was working more than 20 hours? Well, everybody is given or issued a social insurance number. That social insurance number is assigned to you and you alone. You cannot give that or share that with any other person. That tells anybody like the CRA, which is the Canada Revenue Agency, where we file our taxes every year. It tells them how many hours you have been working. So if you're working 50 hours and you're supposed to work 20 hours, it will reflect on that, because your sin is you, and you are tied. Your sin is tied to you. You are tied to your sin. So they found out that the guy was working more than 40 hours a week, and he was asked to leave the country. So this can happen to anybody. So don't say that they are not going to know. Your school has the right to inform Immigration Border Service Agency that you are not attending your full-time studies and you are working too much hours, and that is why you are missing from classes, or you're not submitting your assignments, or you're not in class for classes. So that thing can put you in trouble. So please avoid it at all costs. Like I said, the information about how you can get your work permit outside of Canada, inside of Canada, will all be on the Government of Canada website. The next thing I'm going to talk about is cash jobs. I see a lot of students going to look for cash jobs while they are working part-time or full-time during scheduled breaks. Please know that cash jobs are not legal. I will say that again. Cash jobs, they are not legal. If you are caught, you will be sent back home. They are not illegal, and that is why some people, you will see people telling you, go and do it. Other people are doing it. You go and do it. You know, they say every day for the thief, but it's one day for the owner. You might not be caught. You might be doing it and get scot-free, but there will be a certain day that you will not even know that it will happen. They will look for you and they will find you, and that day will be your last day in Canada. And I know that many of you watching this video right now do not want any of that to happen. So please and please do not find yourself in such situation. The next thing I have here on my list is credit cards, not paying credit cards. So, you know, as an international student who is new to Canada, most banks, they offer this as an incentive to international students by giving them free banking and also a credit card. You know the reason why they give you a credit card? For you to start building your credit. So what international students, or what I see international students doing, is that they go from one bank to the other bank collecting credit cards, because the limit they can give you as an international student is 1,500. That's 1,500. It might have increased now, but in my time it was 1,500. That was the limit they gave to me. And you see international students going to one bank to another bank, they collect credit card. You know what they do with the money? They buy expensive things, expensive clothes, expensive shoes, expensive bags, jewelries, hair, makeup, and the list goes on and on. And they go into debt, because here in Canada, you have to make payments to your credit card when you use it. So you are given a grace period of 21 days, which means that if you bought something of $300, before the 21 days, please pay up that $300. If you know that you will not be able to make that payment, please don't go on a shopping spree. I know why I'm saying this thing now, because it sounds as if, no, Gloria, why would you say I've collected credit card, I should not buy things? No, you know, there are certain things that are important to you. Your goal is for you to buy your textbooks, eat, pay for your accommodation, go to school, pay for your school bus, pay for groceries, and be okay. After school, you can have time to have as much limit on your credit card, but for now, what you need to focus on is your studies, and after your studies, you'll be fine. So please, guys, avoid getting into the habit of getting credit cards from one bank to the other bank and not getting yourself into a problem whereby you are not able to make your payment on time and you go into delinquency or you go into bankruptcy. It is not good, because in the future, when you want to get maybe a real credit, maybe you want to buy a house, they will now look at your credit score and find out that, oh, this person has been using credit recklessly. We cannot afford to give this person any credit. Your credit has been hurt. And anybody with bad credit knows in this country, it's not good. It's not palatable at all. So please ensure that you are paying off your credit card as at when due. The next thing I have on my list is buying a car as an international student. You know, in many international students in my time, you know, many of them, their parents are very rich, so they spoil them. And even those kids too, they know that they have the money. So when they come into the Canada as international students, the first thing they go and do is to buy a car. And they start flexing. You all know what they use the cars for, you know. So they use that and, you know, they are happy. The truth of the matter is, what you are here for is to study. I'm not here in this video saying that don't buy a car as an international student. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that everybody has their priority. And your priority as an international student, you know what it is. So for every semester, you have a bus pass that you pay for every month or every semester, which is 4 months period. You can buy the bus pass. In my time, I didn't buy a car when I came as an international student. Yes, my parents were not the most wealthiest of all families, but even at that, I had brain that, look, there's a way you can save money. I can save that money to buy a car, because cars then at the time I came they were not cheap, and now this is 2024. They are even more expensive than when I came in. So you imagine you going to buy a car, and you have textbooks that you have not bought. Is that a good priority? I hear somebody saying it's not a good priority. Yes, you're right. It's not a good priority. You have to focus on your studies. And so I was talking about the bus pass. So the bus pass allows you to hop on the bus anytime you want during that 4 months with your bus pass. The bus pass allows you to do that. That means that if you need to go anywhere, you enter the bus pass. The only disadvantage of the bus is that during the winter time, there might be delays. And that thing can keep you outside in the cold, and you get cold, you freeze, you know, because you are standing and waiting for the bus. That's the only disadvantage. Apart from that, there is no harm in using the bus, and it's the cheapest way to go. So please, as an international student, please just let us know our priorities. Our priorities should be written down, and we should work with it, so that we don't go into looking for money for people to help us with this money or that money. Because recently I heard that an international student came to this country and started begging the Canadians around his area for money to eat, that he cannot afford to eat. You know, he cannot afford to put clothes on his body and go to school. It is so appalling. How can you, as an international student, when you are coming to this country, you told the Canadian government that you are able to take care of yourself, you have money and everything, and yet you go around begging Canadians for money? It is a bad reputation for people that call themselves international students, and it is not good for other international students that are coming behind you. So please, let us not spoil the road for other international students that are coming behind us. Now, the last thing that I have on my list that international students usually do is listening to the advice of other international students. Now, I'm going to talk about Nigerians. because I am a Nigerian. I don't know about other countries, so I'm going to focus on Nigerians. Before I came to Canada, I was told by a very good friend that when you come here, be very wary of them, because there are sometimes they might put you into trouble, sometimes they might not, but be very careful of them. I'm not in this video, please, as a disclaimer, I am not saying Nigerians are bad people, but let me finish what I'm saying so you can understand where I'm coming from. Recently, I met a Nigerian international student who came, and she found out that she was pregnant. Now, this lady told me, in all honesty, that a Nigerian international student told her in her class that she's going to be in trouble with the Canadian government and she'll be sent back home. Now, this girl went into deep depression because of this particular comment from a Nigerian person to a Nigerian person. Now, that was not the only thing the person told her. The person also told her that her landlady, if a landlady finds out that she is pregnant, the landlady will drive her away from that home. Now, this is something that I find very, very, very hard. In fact, it is unheard of. It's unheard of. It is so painful. It is a reckless statement. It shouldn't have been said to this poor girl, because she is new to a country. She has not spent time in this country. And you, who is an international student, you are also saying this thing to her. You are not making life easy for this person. Depression is real in this country. Forget what we think in our country back home. It is very real. So please, when people are saying things, you have to go and do your own verification also as well. Now, during my time, I wanted to take a course because I wanted to take human resources. You know that in Nigerian students that were international students, as I was, when they came the same time with me, kept on saying, no, you cannot go for human resources, so you will never get a job as a human resource person. How can a Canadian hire a Nigerian, a black person, to come and hire and fire their workers? And I said to myself, am I not making the wrong decision? It took the grace of God and me going to speak with an education counselor, because as in schools, in all colleges here in Canada, you have counselors that can sit down with you and advise you. So I sat down with one, and they asked me for my path. What is my pathway? What are my goals? They want to know if I am going to be in the right path. And I explained everything to them, and they told me that fine, if you go through this path, this is how you achieve it. And I did it. Did I get a job as a human resources manager? No, I did not. But that does not mean that I chose the wrong course. So please, it's not everything that somebody tells you that you take hook, line, and sinker. No, you also do your research. Just as I am presenting these things to you, also go and research. What is Gloria saying? Is she saying the right thing? Go and find out from people, from reading and everything, so that you can know. And about the problem we have as a country or as people is that we want everything to be on our tables free of charge. We want it free. We don't want to spend the time and the effort to go and look for information. We want people to give us the information. That is why many people that I meet on my social media account, they keep on telling me that I can't do this. I need an agent. Please do it for me. I'll pay you. And I tell them, no, you can't keep on saying this. If you go to the Government of Canada website, go and check the information on how to make your application yourself. You do not need an agent. And I'll say this on this video too. If you're here watching me for the first time, please, you do not need an immigration agent to help you with your application to come to Canada. Everything you would need would be on the Government of Canada website. So go and check and make sure that you are getting the right information. Don't listen and stop listening to people, because people can put you into trouble. Yes, they can put you into trouble. Some people will tell you wise things. They will give you wise information. They will tell you things that you need to know, but not everything you should just take on by the book. So with that being said, like I said, I didn't want my video to be long, and I know I've gone too far. There are still a lot of mistakes that international students make in this Canada. If you're an international student and you're new in Canada and you have faced one of these things I've talked about, please, I want to hear from you. And if you have been an international student in the past and you know that you've made some of these mistakes, please let us know in the comment section, because by doing that, you're helping other people to know the things that they need to avoid. And on this note, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching this video. And if you've watched this video up until now and you haven't yet subscribed, why? This is one way you're supporting my channel, is by subscribing to my channel and clicking the like button and sharing my videos to people, so that the YouTube algorithm, I keep on saying the YouTube algorithm, because without you, the YouTube algorithm will not move my video to whom it needs to move it to. So please like, share, subscribe to my channel so that you can see more videos from me. And I make my videos once every week on a Sunday. Sometimes I don't have the opportunity to make the video, and that will only be during emergency situations where we are not feeling too well, I'm under the weather or something has happened, and that is the reason why you don't see my videos on a Sunday. But I always try to make my videos come up on a Sunday. Don't forget to watch my videos that will pop up on your screen. And if you do have a video request, please let me know in the comment section. And even if it's just for you to say, Gloria, I like your hair, or I like your shirt, or something, I like the way you presented, or just something nice, just to push me or motivate me, please let me know in the comment section. And if there's anything that you know that you notice that I'm doing that maybe, Gloria, you need to work on this, let me also know, because we are all learning. I'm not a perfect person. I'm imperfect. I make some mistakes every time. And also, I am not a robot, so I will make a mistake, you know. So until I see you in my very next video, please guys, stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe and share my videos. I'll see you next week. Bye.